Thank you for your interest in the Regional Manager Pool volunteer opportunity. Today, we will go through the purpose of the Regional Manager Pool and the process for joining and being utilized in the role. The role of Regional Manager is not new to the volunteer structure of the fraternity. The Regional Manager Pool, however, allows us to ensure there is consistent recruitment, selection, training, utilization, and resources available to individuals appointed to these positions. The Regional Manager Pools are therefore groups of volunteers that are trained to serve as subject matter experts and appointed to the position of Regional Manager to assist the regional management team in specific functional areas. The biggest change to the role is the regional managers are now designed to be project-oriented, with most individuals focusing on shorter-term assignments that will enable increased utilization of regional managers. This is reflective of a trend in the volunteering community where volunteers are unwilling or unable to commit to a longer-term volunteer role, but still wish to be involved in the role. To launch this new concept, 4 initial positions were determined to be developed first. These initial areas are conduct, ritual, finance, and membership. Additional roles may be added in the future. The process by which the regional manager pools are created begins with the application phase. Interested volunteers fill out the online application, which can be accessed through Volunteer Central in the MyAKSI community. This application is also available in the resources section of this webinar. Volunteers can submit applications for more than one regional manager functional area when filling out the same application. However, if selected and trained for multiple functional areas, volunteers can only be appointed to one functional area at a time. Following submission, applications will undergo a vetting and selection back-end process by which the applications will be reviewed and then volunteers will be notified that they're able to start the training. Training for the regional manager pools will be managed through Alpha Kappa Psi's online learning in the MyAKSI community. The online education will be a series of steps to train volunteers on the topics associated with the functional areas of the regional manager pools. The online training will include readings, e-learning videos, worksheets, manuals, and other educational tools. In-person trainings will be conducted on an as-needed basis. Continuing education will also be uploaded to the My Learning tab in the MyAKSI community as needed, and recertification will occur every 2 years. At this point, upon completion of the training, the regional manager would be eligible for appointment by a regional director to assist with the project. If a volunteer is trained in more than one functional area, they are only able to be appointed in one at a time. For example, if a volunteer applies for both conduct and membership and is selected and trained in both areas, the volunteer can only serve in one at a time. In this example, let's say conduct, to assist a chapter with setting up a chapter judiciary board. With shorter task-oriented projects, the volunteer could complete the work to establish the chapter judiciary board and then be entered back in the regional manager pool to be eligible for appointment again in either membership or conduct. We will cover more details on the appointment process in a moment. While not a comprehensive list, this slide shows some of the major topics that will be covered during the regional manager pool training for each of the functional areas. There will also be general topics covered that apply to all regional manager roles. For example, change management. The regional manager appointment process is broken down into the following steps. The first step will be for the regional director to identify a need for a subject matter expert. The regional directors will be specific with their project, goals, and deliverables in order to make the regional manager the most effective that they can in their role. Next, the regional director will receive a list of qualified volunteers from the regional manager pool. This qualification stems from the volunteer completing their training. The regional director will have access to the regional manager's application, past project reviews, and other applicable documents in order to make the best selection to fit the needs of their students. The regional director will have the opportunity to speak with the potential regional manager candidates before selection, which brings us to the appointment phase. Once both the regional director and regional manager are in agreement on the regional manager being appointed for the project, the regional director will do so. The regional manager will then work with the regional director, regional management team, and student chapters based on the scope of the project. Upon the project being completed, both the regional manager and regional director will provide feedback. As a resource, we would like to recap some of the details on the regional manager pool. First, to recap if volunteers can be trained and volunteer in more than one subject area and region at a time. Yes, volunteers can apply and then be selected and trained in more than one regional manager role at a time. As the example stated earlier, conduct and membership. However, the regional manager can only be active in one subject area at a time. That being said, a regional manager can volunteer in more than one region at a time. For example, if a regional manager of finance is working with a chapter in one region on budgeting, they are able to work with a chapter in another region on a finance-related topic, be it also budgeting, an audit, or another project. If you are currently a regional manager, you may be wondering if you are able to stay in your current role. The answer is yes. Regional directors can still appoint year-long regional managers, provided that there are specific projects and deliverables that the individual is working on. All year-long regional managers will also be trained using the same online education system. Additionally, regional directors are also still able to appoint other regional managers outside of these four roles. These four positions will be trained and standardized fraternity-wide. At a later date, the fraternity may review and add additional subjects to the regional manager pool. Why should someone volunteer in the regional manager pool? As covered earlier, there are some specific benefits to volunteering with the regional manager pool. The regional manager pool is creating standardized training and resources for the regional manager volunteers. This will enable volunteers to have specific subject matter expertise. The regional manager pool also puts Alpha Kappa Psi at the forefront of a trend to have more project-based volunteer opportunities without a long-term commitment. With varied project types, lengths, and deliverables, volunteers will be able to assist chapters and students on a schedule that fits their specific volunteer needs. Additionally, the regional manager pool will increase the actual utilization of volunteers, as regional managers will be able to volunteer outside of their geographic region and in projects that are in their area of interest or expertise. Finally, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to the contact listed on this slide. The application for the regional manager pool is listed here and includes both an interest form within the MyAKSI community, as well as an application with specific questions for each regional manager role. For additional resources related to the regional manager pool and other Alpha Kappa Psi events, programs, policies, and so much more, visit aksi.org. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about the Alpha Kappa Psi Regional Manager Pool.